Hi, welcome to Platforum Sports. My name is Aubrey Kragen, and I'm your host tonight. We have a great show for you, so stick around, and we'll be right back.
Really excited that they have Silas Red coming back and hopefully fully healthy and really ready to compete, along with Trey Madden, same thing. I hope that he steps up and, with his full health and everything. And then with Justin Davis coming in as a true freshman, I think that's so exciting. And I've heard Justin Davis has been fantastic in spring practice, and so I'm excited to see him hopefully starting.
Who will take on that role?
That's definitely, I think, the first thing on everyone's mind. Everyone's saying Kiffin's a horrible play caller, and we need an offensive coordinator and all of that stuff. So I think everybody's kind of on pins and needles with all of our new offensive coaches, seeing who's going to end up calling plays and if it makes a big difference having an actual offensive coordinator instead of just Kiffin. I don't.
Right, well,
so you want me to explain the rule to you?
No, I just mean I don't get why there's a difference in how long you have to stay if you're a football player, how long you can stay if you're a basketball player, and why there's really a difference. Because I think everybody can really gain a lot from staying in college a little longer, even though there's one glaring example of that not working out, which you guys all just need to get over, because it's going to be fine.
If something does go wrong, you always got a good quarterback behind you. So.
That's true, and they all have shown promise, but, I mean, you bring up how well he performed in the Notre Dame game, but then came the Sun Bowl, and everybody freaked out and kind of lost faith in Max Wittek, so it's hard to say, and I kind of, just for fun, I'm kind of hoping that Max Brown I just think that would be really exciting. It would be like a whole new face to the program, and it would be like a complete restructuring and rebuilding after our poor season last year. So I think that'd be everyone's really excited, but I just have to say I'm a little nervous. I mean, Khaled was fantastic, and when he was out, we realized how important it is to have a fantastic center. The game at Stanford with Cyrus Hobby, people just freaked out because he wasn't as perfect as Khaled always was. So I just hope that Max can step up and fill in for Khaled really well. I think he'll step up. I mean, he has pressure to turn this basketball team around that no one's particularly been excited about for the last couple years. But I think, he's been saying it's his dream, and he's so excited. And I think he'll sort of take the LA thing into account, and I think he'll spin off of that. He's kind of got an LA vibe already from the way he brought his team to stardom. So I think while there is a lot of pressure on him because everybody would like to see us playing a little bit better basketball, I think he'll do well.
I honestly, you can't let go of the fact that we did have a coaching change in the middle of the season, and that had to, although it did kind of energize the team, we did start playing a lot better. It still created a lot of turmoil. So if you're asking about consistency, then of course I think that had a little bit to do with it.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants to know is what the coaching
USC basketball needs a little bit of excitement. I think we were kind of excited coming into this season because we had some people back. We had JT coming back, and we thought we were going to do well, and then it sort of fizzled out. But I think this will finally get people to start coming to the games, which I think is an important step in the right direction. Maybe if it doesn't work out, at least it'll have some people come, make some money, and then we could maybe hire a better coach.
So far this
future.
season haven't been tested that much, and they also haven't really updated the rankings in a while. So I don't know if we could make the jump to number one. I think the reason that we are at number two after winning 4 straight, you would think we'd be number one, but we lost Steve Johnson, the number one player in the country, who's doing well in the pros now. We lost Daniel Wynn. So I'd say that's why we're number two, and I hope that we can eventually become number one because we have a really fantastic team, and right now we're 9-0.
It's a tough start for us.
I think it's a smart start for us, though. Even though we lost, I think generating that much excitement about the first game, having it at the Coliseum against the number one team was really smart on our part. And hopefully the team, I think they play at McAllister from now on. I hope people still go. It's a new program. Even if we're not fantastic, I think it'd be really nice if people went out and supported them. I just think
I'm not sure
that
that's
Louisville's emotional ride, or whatever you want to call it, is a little bit stronger than Michigan's, or at least their story behind why they want to win might be. But I don't know how much those backstories are really going to affect the game.
I mean, it was obviously a motivating factor.
I think it's also creating a lot of public support for Louisville. There was that picture that got put up of them bringing the regional trophy to his hospital room, and everyone, has gotten "Pray for Ware" trending on Twitter, and
trending
it's
topic
just
on Twitter.
It's really
create a lot of, I think, public sentiment to support Louisville, which there might not have been before with them being a 1 seed. I think even though they might be forgotten soon, everybody's been excited about Florida Gulf Coast, and it created a lot of chaos and excitement, but everyone's been quiet about it for as long as they've been out now. They just sort of, jumped into the spotlight and have kind of fallen out, and it's kind of sad, but that's just the way sports goes. So they had a few big upsets, and then, they got silenced, and no one's talking about it. He makes a good point, though. They're still number 1 in the spotlight in LA, but it's not for their play, and I don't know what it's going to take to change that. Yeah. Because, the Clippers are doing fantastic, and Blake Griffin is in a lot of advertisements right now, and I think he's gaining popularity, but it's still, I wouldn't say, still not on the level of anybody. You saw last night, Antoine Jameson and Jody Meeks just step up, and whichever it was who hit like 3 threes in a row or something like that to gain like a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter over my Spurs, which was unfortunate for me.
They're yours?
They're mine.
Oh, okay.
The Spurs are mine.
I just checking.
I think that with Kobe out, everyone's going to step up a little bit, but I don't think it'll last. You see that all the time when big players get injured, the team rallies and figures out a way to win for a couple games, and then I think they're just sort of going to trail off. So while the win last night was impressive, I just don't think they're going to keep it up. It's like such a freak occurrence that, he said multiple times that that's a move I've made so many times, and so while, sure, it wouldn't have happened if he were sitting at that moment, but nobody could have known that. So
if he was sitting down,
that's
it wouldn't have happened,
really insightful on my part. But I just, I'm just saying, sure, D'Antoni was playing him at the time, but we can't blame the guy because nobody could have known that.
Have a shot at the postseason.
I mean,
what do you guys
just the conversation we just had about USC basketball, we were turning it around, got a new coach, thought it was a turning point. Won a couple games, and then it sort of fell off again. So it's hard to promise that the Lakers are going to keep this win streak going. There's lots of streaks throughout the season.
I'm going to disagree.
How the Lakers season hasn't quite panned out with bringing all these stars together with such high salaries and everything. Wow. You think that with all this money, you can put together a fantastic team and it's just going to gel. And I just don't know if that's going to be the case with the Dodgers having all this money. It doesn't necessarily mean you can buy chemistry, even though that's I agree.
I know,
Eastern Conference, the Heat, and rude to you both for not picking the Spurs, and you three.
The Spurs, I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
They're such a bad postseason team, though.
They're just old. They're old.
Oh,
they can win every game
regular
season, and then they'll lose the first round.
That's not true. They played well all the way up until not playing well against
they beat an inexperienced Clippers last year, and then they go.
I would hope so, because honestly, I watched the majority of the events of the NBA All-Star Weekend. I did not watch the dunk contest because I just think it's so irrelevant now. They put in these players that I've never heard of. The dunks are okay, and then I forget about them tomorrow. And I just think that with the dunk contest specifically, I think they need to bring back stars.
Uplifted
I think
on their Louisville stuff,
I would rather not discuss Boston because I don't think they're going to get out of the first round. And I want to talk about the Spurs because I like the Spurs. I can't remember the last time that a player had one single game kind of like change the way everyone saw a player. Because last night, all over the place, I was just seeing a star is born. This guy's a star now. Like, everybody suddenly,
like Steph Curry
this
has
one
arrived.
Game turned it around, and he released a statement via Twitter that was very
carefully worded.
Absolutely, I think his PR people have helped him out in the past couple of years. If you know what I mean.
They've had a little bit of experience there.
So I think he's definitely worked on that, and so I think based on just that, it seems like he wasn't. He was very accepting of the penalty, and I don't think that mentally it messed him up that much. I just think he couldn't overcome it strokes-wise, but I don't think it really affected how he played. He just had to take a step
Seattle needs it.
I think another team to highlight, just based on their performance today, was the Nationals with Bryce Harper going off, and then Steven Strasburg, 7 shutout innings, I think, and I think that's a good pair, and I think I'm looking forward to what Bryce Harper is going to do for the rest of the season. He's pretty.
It's great to see the Dodgers, in to win.
Is it great? I hate the Dodgers. I'll go on record.
Whoa.
Okay.
It's just another one of those.
Write it down, guys.
So let's get a really objective view here.
Dodgers are angels.
Neither. Padres. Because the Padres are so good this season, guys.
Yeah. Carlos Ben's
okay.
a great
right?
dude.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
No.
All right, we'll move on.
The thing is, there are legal hits and there are illegal hits. No one's saying that these football players are afraid of getting hit. It's that the NFL needs to do a better job of establishing the line and punishing people who cross the line. Right, it's just kind of funny considering, like you said, the biggest salary in the history of football, and you think like
Joe Flacco
yeah. compared to all of the greatest football players you've ever heard of. $120 million, like a bigger contract than what Aaron Rodgers, who had a great season. Who else? Tom Brady obviously had a really surprisingly kind of small contract.
Good for him.
They're in the middle of
I like think of all the athletes who always tweet about or talk about or in speeches say I give all the glory to God, or they talk about the religion all the time, and it only ever became a problem with Tebow. But otherwise, like, everyone's allowed to be religious and talk about the religion all the time. So I agree with you that in general men tend to be more muscular than women. Like, that is a great generalization. But there, you know that there have been, I bet you there are 100 women, I don't know, at this school that are like bigger, buffer, faster than you. And
Ouch.
If there are, then they deserve a chance to play with the guys if they can match up. So I just think it's unfair. Yeah, well, the only way to get to a higher level is to maybe start a girls like Pop Warner League, like start girls really young getting into it if they want to, and that's the only way that they could ever really make a difference in the high school, collegiate, pro level. They'll never get there if like a Pop Warner sort of thing for young girls isn't created. Yeah, and those were all great, but none of you happened to mention any of the March Madness going on. There's been so much to talk about, and I guess I'll just start with asking you guys if you had a favorite game or a favorite player emerge during these first few games. That's an interesting shift. I'm a big San Diego State fan. I'm from San Diego, and so that was a tough game for me. So I can't quite say I'm jumping on the Florida Gulf Coast bandwagon. I guess I wish them the best, but big rivalry, I guess, between them and Florida. That'll be a fun game and probably a lot to look out for. Do you think there are any other big rivalry games, maybe like Michigan State Duke, that's being billed as a big game because it's Izzo versus Krzyzewski, and do you guys expect that to be a good game? And speaking of Cinderella story, I think LaSalle is also in the tournament playing against Wichita State, which I don't know. Do you think people are going to be interested in that game? Do you think ratings will be low because it's too sort of, not nationally?
Yeah, this year, like all these sleepers are just like coming.
Another interesting story is Marshall Henderson of Ole Miss. They were having some success, and he sort of maybe let it get to his head and became one of the most outspoken players in college basketball. Do you guys have any thoughts on him? Yeah, what you said about being a fad and celebrities and everything always reminds me of Oregon athletics. And they're still in it, and there's one of the two Pac-12 teams still in it, so Arizona and Oregon. Are you guys surprised that there's still two Pac-12 teams? Because so many people say the Pac-12 isn't, a big basketball conference as like compared to something like ACC or Big Ten. But they're playing Louisville, who I think you and I both think are going to maybe win it all. Do you guys have any predictions for who's going to win it all? Or are your brackets shot just like the rest of America? I guess one of the last teams we haven't talked about is the University of Miami. What do you guys think about them, their chances? They're playing Marquette next, so it's a 2-3 matchup. Do you think they're going to make it past or go any further? Or do you think they're all hype? Hi, welcome back to Platforum Sports. I'm your host, Aubrey Kragen. And after talking about all the crazy March Madness, we're going to talk about another crazy game, but we're going to shift to U.S. soccer. There was a game against Costa Rica, played in Denver, I believe, and there was a crazy blizzard, and the United States won 1-0, but now Costa Rica is protesting because the snow put them in just a horrible condition. So I'd like to know what you guys think, if Costa Rica has, grounds to be protesting or not.
I mean, the timing of the
So you were talking about a rookie QB under pressure. Is there any chance Matt Barkley could end up a Raider? Which would be the saddest day of my life, I think. But that's all the time we have for Platform Sports tonight. Tune in next Monday at 5:30, and thanks for watching.